Before I show you the unboxing, assembly, and takedown of the Kodiak 10x10 cabin tent, I wanted to briefly show you a few of the features so you can see just how cool this tent is. It is all season. You can use it in the winter. It's considered to be stove ready, which means it has a stove jack. The stove jack zips closed, as you can see here, and rolls and attaches to the roof when you're using it, and you can see it accommodates a 5-inch stovepipe. But don't worry, you do not have to use this for winter camping. You don't need to use a stove at all. It has 6 windows and then the door, so it's very breathable, can be used in the summer, can be used in the winter. It has awesome zippers. The front door is YKK, which is like a luggage zipper. It's got the large 12-inch stakes like all the Kodiak tents do, and like all the Kodiak tents, just has awesome quality, great stitching on the inside and out. Has the double stitching for the seams. This particular model has storm flaps in the front and in the back. Of course, has the welded braces on the ridge pole, and has the no-seam screen mesh, which does not let in the little bugs and even doesn't let in light rain. And last but not least, has that nice vinyl floor. So let's get started. I did this demo in my backyard. I had not seen this previous to setting it up, and I had been excited to demo this. So I hope this video is helpful for you. It comes FedEx, 79 pounds. Wasn't too heavy. Let me show you all the things as we unpack this. This is a CO2 fire alarm pouch that you would hang inside the tent if you're using a stove. If you're not using a stove, you don't need that. This is the tent body bag. The tent body bag and the pole bag are separate, but it does not ship with the tent inside of the bag, because they want the size of the, so that's the tent body, but they want it to be more long, and you're not going to be able to pack it inside that bag that long. So this is just how it arrives. This is the pole bag. You can see it is not back breaking heavy. It's not too bad at all. It doesn't have nearly as much poles as some of the other cabin tents that Kodiak makes. And of course there's the instruction manual, and the instruction manual can be found online too if you ever misplace it or it gets wet or you lose it. So this tent, what I was surprised about it, and what I really like about it, is there's not a ton of poles. There's the ridge pole, and the reason there's not a ton of poles is because there's a lot of guy ropes, but the guy ropes really help in wind. So that's the ridge pole. There is the bundle of guy ropes, which I'll show you here in a moment. They're very necessary, as well as all the stakes, and there's the 12-inch stakes. So first thing you're going to want to do is unroll this and look for the D-shaped door, and that's going to face the front. So I found that, positioned it where I needed it. I start placing some stakes around it. You always start with the 4 corners. I definitely don't recommend using a hammer, you guys. I use a 16-ounce rubber mallet. Don't point the stakes towards the top of the stake toward your tent. Just go either straight down or slightly away from the tent. There's really no need. And then there's a little D-ring right there. You're going to make sure that that's not staked down with the tent. So I'm going to do the 4 corners. You're going to pull them snug, but not super snug. And fortunately, you can redo any of these things if your tent isn't taut. But we're going to start with this ridge pole. So first there's the center pole, and it's going to go through this sleeve across the top. And when you do this, do it gently. It can kind of have some sharp edges on that pole, and you don't want to damage the tent at all. So then you do the ridge pole, and you'll see that there's those 2 little notches. That strap needs to go in those notches, and it'll be the same on the other side. The assembly manual officially says you need 2 people. I wanted to set this up showing how 1 person does it. See, I almost forgot to put that in the notch there. So I'll show you how 1 person does it. You're going to take the guy rope, and you'll notice that there's different colors. You've got two colors. There's just white, and then there's one that has a slight pattern on it. The one with the candy cane pattern on it is what you're going to stake the ridge poles with. To set this up, if you're setting this up solo, and I kind of I learned this as I was doing it. I was going straight from the pole and staking it out and realized that I needed to change that. So I did it at an angle. And then same with the other side, and I'm going to go at the opposite angle. Same thing here, you're going to put the bottom inside that D-ring. And as we start putting the other poles in around the perimeter, it becomes a lot more stable. But the next thing that I do, these ridge poles telescope, so they have little push pins in them. And so I telescope them on the front and on the back. And to see an aerial view, here's an aerial view. You can see that I've got the ropes going opposite directions. So next thing we're going to do is take these, and this is it. This is just these spiked poles that are going to go around the perimeter. We're going to start with the four corners, and the four corners, they go down into these D-rings. They call them D-rings, but they're like pins that go into the bottom of the pole. And then they have a Velcro material similar to Velcro where you can attach it to the sides. These four corners, and I'll show you what I learned as I went so you don't make the same mistakes, but the four corners use two guy ropes. The other pole, upright spike poles, they just use one guy rope. So after I finish this corner, I'm going to move to the other corner, but the guy ropes have this plastic, kind of like a hook thing, that allows you don't need an extra knot, you just hook it on, and it preserves the tension for you. Okay, now this window has the storm window, and this is how you thread the straps for the storm window, and then it just attaches to the pole. So it's one of the four corners that uses the two guy ropes. You just thread it through the window. And then we'll thread the other side of the window after we finish the other corner. So there's kind of a bit of an aerial view where you can see it coming together. So two guy ropes on each window. Then once you start doing the other poles through the center, you're going to hit that other storm window, and you'll just do the same thing. Thread it exactly the same, stake it down, and you'll notice as I put these down, I recognize that I need to kind of move the guy rope a little bit, tighten things up. Now I can move the center ridge pole guy ropes now that everything's kind of supporting itself as it is. So you'll notice that if you don't do everything like completely perpendicular and parallel to the walls, it'll sag like this. And so you can see we get rid of the sag simply by making sure that that is pulled out straight so that it lines up with that wall. Same with this one. It's sagging. You can see that I kind of have it at an angle, and I need it just to go straight with the wall. And the instructions show you that. It'll have a bird's eye view in the instruction manual that shows you exactly how to keep the guy ropes to make it look nice. So that one was a little bit angled. I'll straighten that one out. So you guys, after we get all of these just kind of angled properly, this is done. So that's a bird's eye view that kind of shows you how to properly do it. Everything needs to look pretty symmetrical, but that's it, it's done. So that's the first time I've seen the tent. I walk in, by the way, all the wrinkles go away. It's just packed tightly, and that's how it is when you get it. 7.5 feet tall, I'm 5'10", So that's 7.5 feet tall with the vertical walls. I was really impressed. I love the cabin tent. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm a huge fan of the cabin tent because of those vertical walls. One thing I did is to adjust the bottom so that it was nice and taut. I just pulled those 4 corner stakes out and just gave them a little bit more tension. So that is how it's done, you guys. That's how to set it up. And it's waterproof. I got rained on the very first night. Well, I did get some water inside the tent thanks to one of my children leaving one of the windows open, but I promise you're not going to get wet if you keep your windows closed. Okay, so let me show you the takedown. You can see most of the wrinkles were gone. I had it up for about 1 week. Here's what you do. First thing, you're going to want to clean this out. That way it's a nice, pleasant experience when you set it up again. One person can set it up, one person can take it down, but I recommend getting your teenage son or daughter, promising them Chick-fil-A if they help you, even though it might be a little bit more work to ask for their help. It's good for them. So I was able to get my son to help me with this step, but it's very easy. And you'll see here, I mean, it's just like you would imagine taking it down. So I noticed first thing in the instructions is it doesn't show you how to fold this up. Some of the Kodiak models do, but this one doesn't. So let me show you. I think the biggest value is showing you how to, not how to pull out the stakes like this and how to wind up the guy ropes. But I do recommend, by the way, separating the guy ropes. Don't just keep them wadded up in one bundle. Wrap them each individually and throw them in with the tent body once it's rolled up, as you'll see here. I think the biggest value, though, is showing you how to fold the tent body. So we basically just yank out all the stakes, start grabbing the upright poles. I wasn't watching right about here, and I pulled this pole out, and the main pole fell and hit me in the head. But just so be careful when you're setting it down. Maybe your child will warn you that it's about to fall you and hit you in the head. But next thing, we take out the ridge poles. Telescope them back in, fold them up. And here's, see, the guy ropes at the top are all kind of organized. And then what you're going to want to do is take the tent body and kind of lay out the ceiling, which is that cream color, so that when you roll this up, you don't have any big clumps of canvas. So I did not use a ground tarp, as you can see, so I'm going to need to wipe this off with a towel. But I want to fit this in the bag, the tent body bag, so I'm going to lay the bag out there where my son is standing, just kind of as a frame of reference, so I know what size I need to roll this up. And because I didn't use a tarp, I notice that I'm folding it so only canvas touches canvas. And then the vinyl floor, even though water doesn't in itself damage it, I'm going to take a towel and wipe it off. My son's going to try and wipe off his side, but make sure if you have help that you maybe go over it if they didn't do an amazing job. You're going to want to make sure that this is stored dry. So we fold it again and realize that if you fold it up perfectly like this, it is not going to fit in that bag. So notice that we back it off a little bit. We did not fold it up completely in half. So it's not symmetrical. And then as you start rolling it up, you're going to need that towel again. If you use a ground tarp, you don't have to go through this. Ground tarp might be wet, and then you just lay it out in the sun, or fold up your ground tarp wet, and it's no big deal. But you don't want your tent stored wet since it's canvas. Joking aside, it really was helpful to have another person there to help me. We put the nylon, the guy ropes in with the tent body, and then zip it up, and we're done. And that's it, guys. I hope that this video was helpful. For more information, visit us at competitiveedgeproducts.com. Hit the thumbs up if this was helpful, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and comment below with any questions. Thanks for watching.